let me get my background right.
That's fine. Take your time.
About 50%.
Okay. Just showing your name. Let me change that. Oh, it's okay. Say that it's showing your name. Well, I don't know, Handy. It's showing my partner's name instead of mine. So.
Oh, that's fine. It won't make a difference. So what will happen is we use the audio for the podcast. And then when we make it into a YouTube video or the Instagram video, you won't be able to see it.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready to start.
Okay, awesome. Because also my name is Philip Herring right now. But
Okay.
I'm not Philip Herring. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm so excited to learn about you and share what you've been doing and just everything.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Lovely. So for recording purposes, I always forget this and I want to make sure that I don't get in trouble by my partner. But can you state your first and last name or whatever name you want to use for the podcast?
Okay, well, my name is Claire Ratidzo Dangarembwa Morgan, but I go by RatieD.
Okay, thank you. Wonderful. So I'll just jump in. The questions will probably take maybe 30 minutes or so. And then when we're ready to launch a podcast, we'll tag you and share everything with you if you want to share it as well. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful. I'm so excited that you're on the show today. What inspired you to live a life that is centered in music and dance?
Wow. Well, I wouldn't say it was really by choice or like I decided. I feel like it's something that was within me because my mom tells me even before I started walking, you know, when music would come on, I would just dance to the rhythm before I could even walk. So I would say it was more like something that chose me. I love music, I love dance, and that's a great way of expressing myself. I'm not very good with public speaking, but I'm very happy to stand in front of like hundreds of people to share, you know, the music side of me. So, yeah, it's the joy that music brings that inspires me to just, you know, chase this dream.
Wonderful. So what was your childhood like and what influenced your interest in the arts?
I'm the last of 4 kids. So my family says I was always my dad's favorite. And, you know, my dad loves collecting different kinds of music. So I feel like that's how I got exposed to different types of music because he would play Thomas Mapfumo, he would play Chuniso Maraire, Bob Marley, Steel Pulse, you know. So I feel like growing up in an environment where, you know, you're surrounded by just that music all the time in the background definitely shaped me into the person that I am and musician that I am.
That's wonderful. So I see the beautiful flag behind you, repping our country. I wanted to know what you do in terms of your artistry and how you share your culture within what you do.
Okay, well, I'm a singer and songwriter, and I also play a Zimbabwean traditional instrument called the enimbira.
Mm-hmm.
So, in as much as I create melodies on the instrument, it's not just to create melodies. I'm also just trying to have that connection also with my ancestors, because as we all know, it's a very sacred instrument. So that's how I am trying to incorporate my culture in my music by playing the instrument and also singing in my vernacular language, Shona and Ndebele, to show who I am as a Zimbabwean woman.
Wonderful. Where exactly are you from in Zimbabwe?
I'm from Bulawayo.
Bulawayo.
Yes, Ziyatunga.
Nice. I'm from Tenwald in Harare.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I didn't get to explore Harare as much.
Mm.
It was very busy, so I was always kind of intimidated to go in the city center.
So I'm not sure, but do you also have a family totem?
Yes, my family totem is Bongachiwa, which is a wild cat. Yes.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm Mangwenya, the crocodile.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. So why do you think it's important for Zimbabweans, especially those that are living in the diaspora, to find ways to give back to the community or share stories of our culture and what we do within our arts?
Yeah. Hey, that's a very good question, Handy. I feel like, over the years, Zimbabwe has been seen through the eyes of poverty and corruption and just people who are not very well developed. So for us who are out here, it's important for us to show people the other side of Zimbabwe, the honest side, because for me, I try my best to be as honest as I can and as welcoming as I can. I always feel like Zimbabweans are very great at sharing hospitality, making someone feel welcome. So I try my best to make sure that whenever someone comes over or just whenever someone interacts with me, they feel like they have my full attention, and that if I'm that person who represents Zimbabwe in that way, I feel like it will change how people see Zimbabweans. It's not only the government, that's going to shine at this point, because, the people of Zimbabwe are everything. So, yeah, we have a big task to change people's minds about how they view Zimbabwe by sharing our talents and who we are. Yes.
Definitely. Where are you currently based in the States, and how did you end up there?
Okay, I'm based in Eugene, Oregon, and my uncle and auntie, Thomas Makfumu, and my auntie is my dad's sister. So yeah, it's an interesting family story, but they live here in Eugene, Oregon. So when I came to the US, I traveled with a band all around, and then I would visit Eugene, Oregon in when we had breaks from the tour, and I loved it. The landscape is amazing. We were based in Las Vegas, Nevada at the time, so it's dry and hot. So when I came to Eugene, it was so fertile and so many trees and rivers around me. And I just felt like that was the place I wanted to be, but I couldn't stay because I was touring. But then it got to a point where I wasn't happy anymore with, touring. And I just decided I wanted to start my own personal journey musically in Eugene, Oregon, because I felt like each time I visited and did get a chance to perform, people were so welcoming and open. And yeah, that's kind of why I decided to come to Eugene, because people received my music very well here, and they still do. So I'm really thankful for that.
That's wonderful. I have quite a an interesting story of myself with Sekuru Thomas Mafumo. But when I was a kid, we're not related, but when I was a kid, I was at my cousin's school. I was picked up from my crash, and then we were going to pick up my cousin. And he so happened to drive by. But, you know, all of the kids, oh, Thomas Mafumo, blah, 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 blah. And he was just like, oh, you know, he's bought ice cream for everyone. So I just my memory of that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, like just having that moment where you see someone you saw on TV and you listen to the music and then they just, you know, buy everybody ice cream. So that was so sweet. So what was touring like for you? I know that a lot of people in the performing arts industry have opportunities to tour, but what was that like for you? Was it stressful? Was it wonderful? Like what kind of experiences did you have on tour?
That's awesome. I had just came from Zimbabwe, so it was a big deal, you know, that I'm going to America. So I was so excited, and you know, I was just happy to meet new people, go to different venues to share. And the tough part was, you know, just being a bag lady. You always have to have your bags, you know, you don't stay in one city for too long. You don't get to, you know, learn more about the friends that you make, you know, along the way, because you're just up and leaving the next day after a performance. That was really hard, but otherwise, you know, performing was always fun, you know, for me. Like that's where I would get my adrenaline, even though, you know, you're so tired for like driving for maybe 16 hours from Las Vegas to New York, you know, like, you know. And honestly, we didn't really have a great manager. So that made it even harder to enjoy the experience, because sometimes we wouldn't get paid, you know, be taken advantage of. So it you know, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. That, you know, the fact that he wasn't a really good manager, but then the performance, the adrenaline that I would feel on stage would kind of overshadow all of that. But then that's why I ended up deciding to leave, because it wasn't serving me as much as I thought it should have.
Yeah. So my sister attended the Zimbabwe Kids Art Camp, summer camp. What a brilliant idea, first of all, but how did you get involved with that?
Well, I know a lady by the name Kanukai Chigamba. She's an amazing dancer, and that's my little baby.
It's okay. I have one too, who's probably going to be doing the same. It's fine.
Yeah, so Kanukai Chigamba is the one who told me about that initiative. And then I was approached by Ratidzo Dangarembwa, who is the president of that project. And, you know, I feel like as Zimbabweans, when we know each other and, you know, the skills that we have, we kind of just find each other. So I think social media also helps, you know, when you put yourself out there and, you know, you definitely put it out there that, okay, I'm Zimbabwean and this is what I do. I feel like that really helped, because I kind of put myself out there.
What has becoming a mother taught you about life? Patience. And it's taught me that women are so amazing and powerful, honestly. And it has taught me to have respect, you know, even more for my mom and all the mothers around. I feel like when I had Oasis, it definitely made me more aware of how powerful we are as, you know, like, yeah, people, we are the ones who are bringing forth the generation. So there is so much power, you know, in that. Absolutely. So I feel like it has helped me also gain confidence in myself as a person, that, you know, I am somebody. I am, you know,
a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, absolutely. I felt the same way. I actually felt the same way, like the level of power that we don't necessarily know we have until we birth something into this life. It's like, wow, you know? But definitely I felt the same exact way. So I do have to ask, what is it like performing for you and just being in that space on stage?
Well, I get very, very nervous. Like before I get on stage, like my stomach starts to run and I start to sweat and all of that. But once I get on stage and I take my deep breaths and I finally find myself in a space where I am aware that I'm a vessel in that moment that is meant to just share my gift and share the positive light that I just feel like I was meant to do. I feel like it's definitely a task that I was given by our creator to share who I am through not only who I am, but you know, the creator's greatness too. So it's bigger than just me being up there and just, you know, shaking what my mama gave me. It's more just me wanting to help people feel, help people reflect, and help people remember that there is a possibility of joy, you know, in this life. Because especially during these times, I feel like it's really hard to connect to, you know, that side of being joyful and thankful. So a lot of my songs try to, you know, help people remember that it's important to be thankful and grateful and present in the moment, really.
It's so wonderful that you say that, because I often look at us artists as healers. Because we're very much spiritually in tune, or there's a reason why we have this gift. So I feel like, you know, in a sense, we're healers to others that are around us that want to feel and embrace what we have to offer. So that's really wonderful, what you said.
At the same time, you know, it's an opportunity to heal ourselves as well, because if we don't have that platform or that opportunity to give who we are, it definitely is it's difficult, you know, to just keep your head up even. I remember last weekend I did a show for the first time in front of an audience. You know, they organized it in a way where people had tables 6 feet apart, and I could feel in the entire band that we were just like giving our all, because it had been a while since we performed in front of people. It felt good to get that energy from the people. It was a really awesome exchange, and financially it may not have been as rewarding as I desired because the numbers were so small.
Of course.
For my soul, I felt so good. So it's not only about just giving to people, it's also just letting myself express myself so that I can, you know, feel good also. It's like filling my cup, and I'll fill your cup too.
Yes. And it's wonderful, so wonderful how you concluded with that, because I wanted to segue into self-care and, you know, mental health. Given our current times, because this year has been very, very interesting, and, you know, we haven't had a chance to process the level of things that have been happening. So I wanted to know how you practice self-care, how you take care of yourself. You're also a mom, so I know that there are a lot of things that you are juggling. So, you know, how have you been, and how do you maintain self-care?
Yeah, I just want to tell you like a little story before I say that.
Yes.
Around February, you know, for you in Eugene, the coronavirus, people were talking about it, but then it wasn't as serious at that time. So I was so busy, Handy. I remember traveling to Seattle. I went to Portland. I was just trying, you know, Black History Month. So that was the busiest time that I've ever, it was really intense. And deep down inside of me, I was like, I've been manifesting all these opportunities, but then this is so overwhelming. In March, I am taking a break. I'm going to just take some steps back off of performing so that I can focus on my album. And then COVID happened in March. That's when everything was shut down. And I was like, okay, I need to be careful with my manifestations, you know. But then that was my way of wanting to take care of my mental health, because I felt like I was so drained. I felt like I wasn't getting time to be a mom, you know. So in a way, I don't want to say I'm thankful that COVID happened, but then it did help me take a step back from performing so much. And I've been able to, you know, spend time with Oasis. I feel like that on its own is healing, you know, to be able to interact with your child. Society has it that, you know, if you're working all the time, then you're, you know, like you're an awesome mom. But being present in your child's life is also something that needs to be normalized.
I agree.
You know, so how have I been taking? It's not easy, because in as much as I needed a break from performing, I still missed it. But I'm thankful for platforms like this, you know, that, you know, allowed me to, you know, do shows on Zoom. And then I have a very supportive partner as well, who will, you know, take Oasis, you know, when I need maybe like to just take a nap or, you know, when I need to go and hang out with some friends or something like that, or do a bath, you know, in the room. So I think that also helps, you know, having a great support system. Yeah, and I communicate with my family a lot in Zimbabwe. That definitely helps to keep me sane, because, you know, I'm not really interacting a lot, you know, out here because of COVID. So if I'm able to talk to my dad back home and my friends and my siblings, that definitely helps me to center myself.
What brings you joy?
Nature. Nature brings me joy. And that's in every form, like, you know, family, the sun. Unfortunately, seasons are changing. So yeah, I love being outdoors. I love music. I love listening to music, different kinds of music, and also dance. Yeah, dancing brings me joy. And food. I love food.
Yes. I love food too. What are your aspirations in the future as a performer? I know that even COVID has brought opportunities for us as artists to think and plan. So are there any aspirations that you have?
Well, for right now, it's mostly really to get my music, the album that I've been working on, to go out there to the people. I'm still yet to figure out when I drop the music, but wow, I want to be a bridge between America and Zimbabwe to help young girls to find their voice, because I feel like I had challenges, you know, with speaking up or sharing who I am, because I was so shy, or, you know, I don't know how it is out for other people, but then for me, I was brought up in a community where you shouldn't try, you know, don't shine too much. You know, don't shine too much, you know, stay humble. But then I feel like that kind of takes away a lot of self-esteem, because you're trying so hard to be in someone's shadow or not to step out. So, you know, I've been doing workshops, choral workshops, with, you know, some young people out here. But then the ultimate goal is to be able to have like a group of African American girls and some Africans in Zimbabwe, or just all over really, who can do like a cultural exchange where they can, you know, some girls from here can travel to Zimbabwe and, you know, learn some choral music from Zimbabwe, you know, and and be that bridge to help girls have confidence, because it's something that I'm still working on right now. So imagine the, young teen. I feel like there's a lot of work in that way. Yeah.
Definitely. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like during the wildfires on the West Coast? Were you guys affected by that at all?
Yes, about 11 miles from Eugene, Oregon. That's where there was like a really big fire, and it was so smoky. Even like our apartment, you could smell the smoke. So lucky enough, my partner has family about 2 hours away, so we decided to go away. But then the moment we arrived there, the smoke just accumulated in that area as well. So it was really hard, just to hear about all the homes that were lost during the fires, like all the people who lost their animals. And yeah, it was not an easy time at all. I honestly didn't think it was going to go away. So
wow.
But then we just, we were all just praying for rain, and it finally came, and we have clear skies now.
Wonderful, because that was just scary watching it from our end, on television. I'm like, what is happening? Sometimes you can't control nature, and then sometimes we have to realize that the things that we do can affect what happens in the world.
Right, that's true.
Is there anything that impacted your life and changed your outlook on how you choose to live?
I think just being separated from my home country definitely shook things up for me. Like I was saying, I was very sheltered, but then after 23 years of living under my parents' roof, I finally, I left, and then I came across a lot of challenges where I had to make personal decisions, so I'd say being separated from my parents, that was like the biggest thing for me that made me feel like, you know what, I'm going to have to be a little more confident. I'm going to have to speak up a little bit more. I'm going to have to be a little more sure about this choice that I made to choose music. So yeah, it definitely put me in that spot where I had to prove to myself that I made a choice. So I have to step up.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What collaboration with another artist did you find the most inspiring?
Oh, Kanya Thomas Mapfumo. That so far, that's like the biggest. Yes, I grew up listening to Mkanya in the home, and I would just, my dad would give me like boxes of matches to use as shakers, and I would just play as, the music played in the background. I'd try to do backing vocals, and I remember just daydreaming about it, like, one day I'm going to sing with Mkanya, and it happened. So that's like a really big dream come true.
That's wonderful. Your manifesting skills, though. You have to tell me your trick.
Well, we have that power, girl. We just haven't really tapped into it much, because, I don't know, society kind of makes it seem like we don't have that power, but we do. And then I've also collaborated with a lot of amazing musicians here in Eugene. Watching, I have some friends, Shania Davis, Samira Lobby. These are like beasts on the stage,
Nice.
So, working with them also just helped me, it challenged me as well, into being better artists. And I did backing vocals for Bongolove, like a few years, like maybe like 6 years ago. And, that definitely helped me also just to step out of my comfort zone, because I was in an all-female acapella group before that, like the first time. And, when you're in a group, you kind of blend in. So you're not really forced to, step out and show who you are. So when I moved on to being with the band, I was put in the spot to kind of be like, okay, so what do you have to share? So that was a really great collaboration that helped me grow. Yeah.
I love that. I also believe that the creator will always put us in front of the things that we don't want to face, but need to in order to grow and mature. So, the things that you were saying you had challenges with, or just gaining that confidence, has just been put in front of you. And, slowly but surely you're overcoming.
I sure am. And I need to also just get to a point where I, give myself a pat, because sometimes I feel like we don't celebrate ourselves enough, but yeah, I've been through it. And I'm here, still standing.
Still standing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you enjoy more, singing or dancing?
Singing.
Nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. With dancing, I feel like when I was younger, I was always you would always find me on the dance floor. But then the older I got, I was surrounded by more like professional dancers. So it was kind of, intimidating for me to dance, because I was more like just, freestyle and stuff. But then there's people who got the choreography down and all that stuff. And sometimes it made me feel some type of way, or maybe their reactions to how I dance would, make me feel like, But then lately I've been just going online and looking up dance classes so that I can feed that passion that I had, when I was younger, and just learn. I think learning will definitely help me to, express myself better in that way. So but singing, yes, that's I think that's my main instrument. Yes.
So the one thing that I miss about being home are jacaranda trees. And I wanted to know, what do you miss about being home?
Hey, food, Andy. It's the food. Like, I miss, I feel like, yes, I have access to cornmeal to make stanza and stuff, but then the taste is not the same. Even with like the fruit, the taste is not the same out here.
And yama, it's all kind of different.
Yeah, even like tomatoes, you cut, it's not as juicy as it is back home, unless you grow it in your own garden, So I miss the food. I miss the community, with, being a mom. I think it helps to be around your aunties and the neighbors even, to, hey, can you just watch her for a little bit, that kind of communal setup is definitely something that I long for, especially now during COVID times. If I feel like if I was back home in Zimbabwe, there wouldn't be as much pressure, with like watching my little girl, like she would be playing with her little cousins,
That's what I miss. That's what I long for my son, is the idea that you can be outside all day. And there's no concern of anyone kidnapping you, or, there's always eyes on the child at home. And if there isn't, you don't have to worry, as much.
So that communal feeling, it's missing for sure.
So where can we follow your journey as an artist? And I know that you're saying you're working on music, but I would love to share any information that you have with our listeners about what you're doing and, the music that you're going to put out in the future. So please share your Instagram and everything else that you can share with me.
Okay, so people can find me on my website, which is RatieD.com, and that's RatieD.com. And on YouTube, I use Ratie.D, and on Instagram is the same Ratie.D. But then I would just suggest, that the website is the best place
for sure. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You've shared so many wonderful things with me, and I wish you the best. I wish your family the best. And yes, hope all is well for you.
Thank you so much. I wish the same for you, Andy. And thank you so much for creating an awesome platform, for artists to share who they are. That's really something we need.
Absolutely. And hopefully in the future we can meet in person. I'd love to come to one of your shows.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I love your art too, Andy. You do such a great job. All the best with that.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Take care, Andy. Bye-bye.
Bye.